Good morning. Just prepping here for what we're about to do, but with the coronavirus outbreak and everything going on, we're doing a good cleaning first. I'm using some Windex antibacterial multi-purpose cleaner and a brand new sponge. I've already washed it down, but now what I'm going to do is just disinfect the whole area. And this is a brand new sponge here. I want to make sure I get it all. Pull these out. Just give it all a good wipe down. Make sure all the surfaces get wet. Yeah, because I'm going to show you something that most people today don't do anymore. And that is I'm going to take a bottom round roast and I'm going to ground it to make my own ground round. Because I can't get any ground beef at the market. Got to let this dry and then we'll come back and set up the meat grinder. So here we are. We washed our hands. We got our roast. We got our grinder, which is set up on a cutting board because I can't clamp it to the counter. And I got the extra cutting board for extra weight because we're going to be pushing down in here. And we're going to go ahead and take this roast and turn it into ground round. We get a good knife. We'll go and open up the package of ground beef. Roast. Now, me and Pepe used to have a wooden plug they used to push down. I only got my fingers, which means I got to be careful I don't do one of those. I'm going to go ahead. I am going to trim the excess off here. What I'm doing is peeling it. Peeling it all back. This could take a while. Try. See, what I'm doing is I'm peeling it away, cutting it with the knife. So what's that? Could basically rip it off. The more I rip, the less I'm gonna. Oh yeah, that's. You're all waiting saying, when's he gonna get his hand stuck in the grinder, right? I trimmed off the first slab here. We're gonna give her a go through. Ready? The grinder will actually start pulling it in. Here it comes. More work than I remember. Actually sucking the meat in on its own. Get a good view of that. That's some work. I've still got the rest of the roast to go through. Okay, it's going to take like 3 more plugs of this. Cut a section here, cut this section, and cut it into 2, strip all the fat off. I'll get you back near the end here. It's been about a half an hour now. I just cleaned this out because the fat was really binding in between and not letting the stuff go through, and I've discovered smaller chunks are better doing this. And I got a recommendation here for all of you before you decide to go out and buy a grinder like this. You can find these at flea markets and stuff. I'm sure there's industrial suppliers that have something similar. Like I said, the more you cut it down, the better it goes through. The hardest part is the last piece. I want to get my fingers caught. The last one. We're almost there. Said my grandparents had a wooden plug they threw in it. Pound the meat down in there with the plug so that they didn't have to stick their fingers in. The trick with using your fingers is don't crank when you're pushing it down in. It's almost there. So anyway, here's the final recommendation. If you're going to do something like this, ask the butcher. They'll grind it for you. This is what your grandparents had to do. Your great-grandparents. Thanks for watching the video. Here's the package of ground beef. Here is the unit pulled apart. You see it's got the grinding wheel, the nut to hold it all together, and the spinner to pull the meat through. This here is where it goes on through, and here's the front side where it's coming out. Here's the side where the handle goes in. And this is how we attached it to the cutting board.